Good afternoon. Thank you for attending the critical incident debriefing of the incident that took place at 601 Prospect on the 15th of April 2026. Earlier today, we released the body cam footage as well as some interior surveillance cam footage that took place of the robbery that was captured of the robbery at 7-Eleven. I would acknowledge that this is an ongoing and active investigation. Some of our charges we expect will increase in the near future. We're going to add some charges in conjunction with the DA's office. But overall, we feel very confident to where we are at this point to be able to charge the charges that we produced to you earlier when you got here. So I'll open this up for any questions.
Commissioner, can you kind of, I guess now that we have the video, walk us through a little bit of what stuck out to you in that? What did you see when you watched it?
Sure. So as I briefed on the 16th, what my initial takeaway was how these officers were not expecting to be walking into an armed robbery. And it's almost a surreal situation that they were faced with. The officers are on their way to get a beverage while on duty, and they're walking into a armed robbery in progress. And especially when you look at a PPO who has only been on the streets, a probationary police officer who's only been on the streets for approximately 4 months, and she is faced with that, and then her actions throughout this process, I was very proud of her and how she handled herself. And she does not have a lot of experience to draw on, like maybe some senior officers, and she did a phenomenal job. Additionally, the other thing that stands out in my mind, we've had great cooperation from the public. We have multiple witnesses from each phase of the robbery or the incident. We have people from inside the store that are cooperating. We have people from right outside the store, and then we have victims and a witness from the incident where the car was stolen. So it's very nice to see people cooperating, and it's great, and it's always very helpful in crimes.
Do we know a little more about, I guess, what was said to the clerk? What was, the suspect in this case saying? I don't want to go into the exact verbiage, but essentially he was looking for the clerk to fill up a bag with items and cash.
When you talked to us Thursday, it was kind of unclear what prompted the suspect to shoot the clerk. Did he see the officers coming and then shot the clerk, or what caused that initial shot?
At that point, that's still very unclear to me. If you look at the video in its entirety, he still is in his fixed position after he shoots the clerk because he still wants his items. And then it appears that his attention is drawn to the officers after that happens.
And where was the clerk wounded in the case?
So the clerk was wounded in his upper leg area, thigh area.
Do we know what his status is?
He was released from the hospital by the next day.
Okay. And so the officer who fired is Officer Dielick?
Yes.
And then in the video, I'm just trying to picture it, which officer is the suspect pointing the gun at?
That's Officer Piscucci so as you're looking at the video from the start, the officers in their marked police car pull into the parking lot. Officer Dielick moves to the right, Officer Piscucci moves to the left, and then the incident takes place from there.
I guess as you've had time to kind of digest this a little more, review the video, is there anything that you think could have been done differently, or do you think they did what they had to do?
Sure. I think every critical incident involving police should be looked at and have an honest assessment on where we can improve as police officers and what we can look at for training. That, like every other critical incident, will be done, and we will talk internally about that.
Both officers are on the job?
They are. Well, they're on administrative leave. The district attorney's office is going to move forward with the charges. At that point, we will look at when they come back to work.
Paid, right?
Yes, sir. Administrative leave.
How many total shots were fired?
The officers fired 2, or well, the one officer fired 2.
Officer Dielick?
Yep,
And the clerk was only shot once?
once.
And the suspect he was injured only through one gunshot wound?
Yeah, so when we talked on Thursday, it was, I had a little bit of hesitation talking about the suspect's wounds because actually, believe it or not, the officer in her first shot fired and struck the gun and damaged the suspect's gun. The second shot she fired struck him in his brachial artery in his arm.
So I guess only one bullet really broke skin, is that fair to say? The other one hit the gun?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And that's in his arm?
Yes.
Do we know any more about the suspect that you're able to say? Is he known to police?
Yeah, so the suspect is currently on parole. He has a lengthy criminal history, and he'll be in police custody for a while.
How are his injuries? Is he recovered?
So he had a couple different surgeries to repair that artery. He is currently still at ECMC. He has been charged, and he is in the secure facility or the secure floor at ECMC at this time.
It sounds obvious. I'm sorry.
Oh, he's expected to recover? Sorry.
Yes.
Can you just speak to the seriousness of an armed robbery?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime there is a violent act that is taking place and there's a firearm involved, you just never know what's going to transpire through that situation. And it's very, very common that the outcomes are going to be all over the place, right? The people leave, and then other times, you have a situation like this where an innocent victim gets shot. So, I know that's kind of all over the place with that answer. It's common that you just never know how it's going to play out. There's no determination on that.
How critical is it to have two angles of body camera footage and that overhead view from the 7-Eleven?
Well, that's a absolute must in this day and age in policing, having body cam with as much evidence that we can obtain to be able to say what the police officers did, but also private surveillance cameras. They're used every single day in police work, whether it's helping solve a crime. Sometimes it exonerates people, right? And anything that the public can do to help us, we really appreciate.
And I know you answered this on Wednesday, but I'll ask again. Or for the first time I was there on Wednesday. Do you feel that the shooting, the use of force was justified?
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
And in regards to that, what was her training using the lethal force versus a less than deadly force?
Sure. So whenever there is a person that is posing a threat to life, whether it's the officers or a civilian, officers have the ability to use lethal force. In this case, the subject is armed with a firearm. He shoots somebody and then points that firearm at the police. So that's absolutely justified.
Did the officers witness through the window the clerk being shot?
So we have not interviewed the officers yet. They have counsel. We're running on their body camera, and I cannot answer that question. I can just go off of the actual evidence that we have, which again is very important that we have body cams, that they're working, that they're on, so we can piece together what happened before we actually get statements from people.
How many days does it usually take before you get statements from officers?
It just depends on the incident, right? And when their lawyers make that possible, right? So it also goes to availability of lawyers and then how the case is going to proceed. I would think that the district attorney's office is going to take action pretty quickly, and then from there we'll go from there.
Have you interviewed the suspect yet?
The detectives, he's been in custody. I don't know if he was questioned or not.
How quick was it between the officers walking up to the store and them firing shots at the suspect?
If I recall from the video, I believe it was about 20 seconds.
Is there training that prepares officers for a situation like that where they think they're just going to walk into a store and buy something and then that happens?
Well, we do our best at scenario-based training. There is, we have incorporated through our Axon contract and our updating of our tools that we have to be able to train officers. We use virtual reality training. We have done that, and then also we are doing scenario-based training with sim rounds and live fire and things of that nature. So yes, but that's training, and then you kind of understand you're in a training environment and something's going to happen or something could happen versus being out on the street working for a couple hours and having an easy go of it, walking into the store and something totally different happens.
What hour were the officers on a shift? Was this?
So that's the afternoon shift for the City of Buffalo Police Department. Patrol officers work in 3 recognized patrol shifts. These officers were on afternoons, which is 3:30 or 15:30 to 01:30.
Do they usually work together, or are they partners?
So that is a relatively new situation since she is an FTO. She is a PPO. We sometimes cycle field training officers through with different probationary police officers.
All right, everybody, we're good? Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Have a good day.